r/NoSleep. Posted by u/void_cyper. A man in a yellow suit gave me a disturbing journal. I was walking around Europe, enjoying my vacation, and looking at some Gothic architecture when a strange man approached me. The man was dressed in all yellow with a pair of round-tinted glasses. He addressed me by name. Mr. Diadem. He said in a sophisticated accent. "Excuse me, but have we met before?" I asked this total stranger. Not necessarily met before, but our meeting was inevitable. I merely came to drop off an heirloom. He reached in his jacket and handed me a brown leather journal. When I opened it, it had dates going back to 1888. "Who are you?" I asked the strange man. "My name is of no importance, just be sure to read that on your free time, my friend." It was a strange encounter for sure, and I looked through the journal, that probably should have been in a museum, just to check to see if he was trying to get rid of something incriminating. From what I could tell, there was nothing off about it. When I got back to the hotel, I put the book in the luggage and forgot about it for the better part of the trip. About 3 days later, it was my last day there and it was too stormy to go out and do anything, so I decided to kick back with some tea, and that's when I remembered the book. Having nothing better to do, I decided to read through it. The pages were worn but not destroyed, the book itself was remarkable well preserved, and the handwriting was smooth and legible even if most of it was in cursive. I then proceed to read the first entry. 15, October 1888. My name is Dr. Harry Diadem. I am keeping this journal as a record of my time here in Glenvale, a small humble town on an island somewhere out in the Pacific, I believe. I came here after my reoccurring dreams of a sunken city and the thing at its heart. I asked professionals and doctors and they told me it was stress and would often prescribe laudanum for sleep. It wasn't until I met a strange gentleman dressed in all yellow, who told me the town of Glenvale would have specialists on dreams and may help me get to the bottom of things. I looked up for a moment. Whoever wrote this not only had my last name, but also knew the strange man dressed in yellow that I did. No way it was the same guy. This was written over 130 years ago. I thought maybe the man was a creepy stalker and this was some sort of elaborate prank, but why go through so much effort? Reluctantly I read on, trying to piece together what exactly is happening. 17, October 1888. Adjusting to the townsfolk and their atmosphere has proved challenging. They do not seem like they appreciate visitors or anyone in their town. All except for one. I met a woman who looked to be from the Caribbean island. She was half-dressed and wore many tattoos and markings. She had offered to tell me my fortune in exchange for a drink. Instead of a fortune, I asked if she would know something about the strange dream I had been having. She laughed, raised her glass and told me to meet her in the cathedral by nightfall in 24 hours. 18, October 1888. I have returned from the cathedral with the woman whose name I learned to be Ushara. I walked into the cathedral to find it empty and void of light or public, with the exception of her. She beckoned me toward a door and unlocked it. When the door opened, it revealed a stairway going down. When we reached the end of the basement, we came to a large chamber, and in the center was a large idol or statue. The statue was that of an entity unlike anything I had seen before. It had wings like a dragon, the head of a cephalopod, and runes tattooed onto its body, like the ones Ushara had. I asked her what the meaning of this was and she told me that the god I stood before was the source of my dreams. And this was the second pillar. 20, October 1888. Something is happening in this town. Riots and mobs are breaking out across the hamlet. I can hear chanting coming from the woods in the distance and the sky has become warped with shadows and cosmic energy. I think Ushara is outside. I should see if she is okay. 20, October 1888. This is my final entry. Ushara has demanded my life be used as a sacrifice to awaken this god of madness. The townsfolk have surrounded the inn and as faithful as the tide, my nameless friend in yellow comes along. I will give him this journal to give to any of my descendants. They want my blood and my soul, so I ask anyone who may be of my lineage. Never come to the town of Glenvale. Don't let them use you to fuel the awakening of their god. Never set foot on this cursed island. I closed the book and my heart raced. It has to be a lie. I didn't have an ancestor named Harry Diadem and I never heard of Glenvale before. That's when I looked out the window to see a man dressed in all yellow looking up at my room with a grin spreading ear to ear. I'm writing this because I don't know what's going to happen next, but whatever you do not trust the nameless man in yellow. r/NoSleep. Posted by u/void_cyper. There's a convenience store in my neighborhood no one ever steals from twice. Summerwave was a small store in my town that was a haven for anyone with $10. They sold the usual candy bars, soda, chips, and wine coolers, all reasonable priced. I would always go down there as a kid and use the allowance mom gave me to get chips and soda for an afternoon of gaming. The store itself was cozy and welcoming, small rows of snacks with warm-colored walls and young Manger's favorite vaporwave music playing on the radio. The manager Tiffany was a nice woman, who would often leave the counter to do something on her computer. It wasn't unusual to walk in and think the place was closed because no one was there, but ring the small bell at the counter and she would come help you. I was an honest kid and always rang the bell to pay, but I noticed there weren't any security cameras. It was all too easy for a robber to just walk in, slip a soda into his pocket and get out scot-free. I asked Tiffany how she stops theft in her store, but she just shrugged and said, "No one ever steals from here twice." I didn't see how she could possibly know if someone stole from there twice, seeing as how she was always looking at her screen, but I do now. I walked to the store and saw police officers there. They were interviewing Tiffany. Apparently a mile up the road someone had just ran his car off a cliff. Upon inspecting the wreckage, the police found his brakes were cut. "Are you sure you didn't see anyone tampering with the vehicle? Sources say his last stop was here," the investigator asked. "No, I didn't even really see him come in." The detective folded his book and shook her hand. "All right, miss, ring us up for 2 sodas and we will be on our way." As the police walked away, I asked her myself, "Hey, so what was that about?" She smiled, happy to see me. "That? Oh, apparently someone was in my shop, and I didn't know it. I thought I heard someone come in, but I didn't hear him or her ring the bell. I came to the fast conclusion that they might have stolen something to get out with such subterfuge. Well, I will take some donuts please." She rang me up and I was on my way. That was the first strange encounter I had with the local legends surrounding that place. A week later I had made a new friend named David. He was a cool kid other than being a troubled delinquent. We were going to the Summer Wave store when David noticed that there was nobody inside and Tiffany was in the back helping her daughter with her homework. "Bro, watch this." I watched as he snaked his way through the store and grabbed 3 cans of soda, 2 snack cakes and chips. He had clearly done this before. "Bro, look at that, didn't pay a penny." "You shouldn't do that, she's a nice lady." "Yeah, she's also dumb as rocks, let's go play Left 4 Dead." After getting home that night I went to bed wondering if I should continue my friendship with David or find friends that didn't steal. I never realized that playing Xbox with him that night was one of the last nights I would have to spend with him. The next morning, I hear news that David died in his sleep, a heart attack. His mom wept bitterly, and his dad didn't want to come out of the house. Soon it would be my turn to face the horror that brought his untimely end. It was a month later and I was at the end of my money. The heat was oppressive, I would give anything for a can of soda. August was not forgiving and as I walked past Summerwave, the heat made me crazy enough for an idea. I would sneak in while Tiffany was napping and steal 2 cans of soda. One for the day and one for tomorrow, then as soon as I can, I would pay back Miss Tiffany as soon as possible. I crept in like a bandit hoping no one would see me as I was worried someone might walk in, but I was quick enough. I got 2 cherry sodas and ran out. I thought I would get off, no consequence. I was wrong. That night I went to bed with the fan blowing on me and I was just about to fall into slumber when I noticed the fan go off, and a dark malicious presence behind me. I was trapped in sleep paralysis facing the wall, too terrified to turn around and see the thing lurking over me. "Thief," I hear it say. "Thieves aren't welcome in this neighborhood." I could move my mouth and speak loud enough to explain myself. "Please, I had no money, it was so hot, I will pay her back." It sounded like excuses coming out of my mouth. "Lies, you're just like your friend. You stole from my store, my family and my legacy, why shouldn't I? Please, I pay every time, it was just this once." I think it sensed the honesty in me. "Alright, I can tell you're not lying. You get one more chance, but steal so much as a candy bar and it will be the last time you do." I felt his grip on me release and I jumped out of bed and tuned on the lights to nothing. I still shop there to this day, but I always make sure to ring the bell and pay, because when I am in there, I can feel something watching me.